Hi, welcome to the Frugal Frau. I'm Suki, your host. And today I'm standing here next to my lovely wood cook stove, but I'm not going to cook anything for you today. Instead, what I'm going to do is show you how we're going to remodel this room later this year. And because you might want to know what we're going to do. And I can assure you it's going to look a lot nicer than being totally pulled apart, which it is right now, but we deal. Anyways, a subscriber sent me fresh rosemary and fresh bay from their garden, and I am going to dry that. And so the stove is warm, not hot, cooling down because we've already cooked the afternoon meal for the day. And I did use things from my pantry, just to let you know. I used some spicy squash soup, and I added a pint of beans to that, and we had that as a nice, very hearty soup. And I made another loaf of cornbread to go with that and a small salad. So that was a nice, totally pantry-driven meal. So that's always nice. Now, before we go on, I'm just going to say I'll see you downstairs where I can film above my table so I can show you exactly what we're going to do with this room. Okay, I'm downstairs where I have an ability to set an overhead camera, so we have an overhead shot so that you can see what I'm doing, so that I can explain to you what is actually going to happen in our dining room remodel. So now we're going to get rid of my not so lovely face and go back down to the drawing. Okay, we are looking at the original plan of this house, and the drawings were left here when we moved here, so that's good. And the room we're going to concentrate on today is the dining room. This is where you normally see me cooking at the wood cook stove. And I just wanted to show you the entire first floor plan to begin with, just so you have some orientation. And if you're like me, you kind of are interested in these sorts of things. Anyways, I just want to tell you that this was built as a modular house in 3 modules. These 2 modules, this one and this one, and on top a 3rd module which sits centered over these 2. And it's a Cape style house, which is why that center module sits like it does. And when we moved in, this was a sliding glass door in the dining room, and it led out to a deck which wrapped around to the front, or the street side of the house, which is also the west side of the house. And on this house, the roof lines go this direction and that direction. So they slope to the east and slope to the west. And they never overhung very much. And so the snow would pile up on this deck on this side, and it created a lot of problems because the snow would sit up against the house, and there was a lot of rotten, wet, and ant damage that we had to deal with when we moved in, both on this main level and on the level below, which at this side of the house is a daylight basement. So anyways, that was just a little bit of history about how this thing is constructed and put together. And in another video, I'll be talking about how we created an entranceway, a bathroom, and a master bedroom. It originally was a living room. This was originally a bedroom. This was originally a bathroom, but now it becomes an entranceway. And we've changed a few things already because we didn't like the way the traffic flowed, and we wanted a bedroom that was decent size on the main floor. So getting back to the dining room, and I'm going to overlay my drawing of all the entire floor plan changes, some of which have occurred already on top of the original drawing, which you can still slightly see through this in red. And let me pull this back one more time. Over here is a closet that went into an area kind of between the kitchen and the dining room, and the chimney chase. And this was all built with standard 2x4 construction, and it made for a small closet with a useless 12-inch wide door, and also a surround around the actual chimney, which is approximately this size and smaller. So we removed all of that when we decided to put in a wood cook stove. And when I removed all that, I put cement board all around the entire chimney, out past the chimney to the west, and out on this wall past the chimney to the east. And that gave us a solid barrier that was flame proof. And then of course I tiled with slate all around that, up the chimney and on the floor surrounding the wood cook stove, all to be fire safe. Okay, so the cook stove vents into a chimney, because fortunately we had a double chimney chase, or a double stacked chimney, I should say. And so it vents into the east side chimney, and the masonry heater below vents into the west side of the chimney. And over here we have grates on the floor, which you've probably seen in the videos, and those are directly above the masonry wood heater stove, which we put in the basement and which you did see in the pantry challenge video, which I did a couple of weeks ago. Anyways, so that's just the basic floor plan change we made there. And then what I am doing in this room is adding a built-in bench around this west and south corner, and using our original dining table to use there, and it will fit just perfectly. The drawings are approximately to scale here with this table and bench, and I have another floor plan video drawing, which I'll show you in a minute. But just to let you know, what we did was when we removed the deck, we also put an addition out here. It's not very large, it's just 12 foot by 12 foot. And underneath, that is the space that we used for the cistern below, and also the root cellar. And you've seen that in the pantry tour video too. So that's sort of the orientations of how that works. Now, looking at just the dining room and my changes here, you can see that here's the wood cook stove, the grates, the table, the built-in bench, and these were the original exterior walls here. And what I'm going to have to do is extend those walls a bit, and I'll probably extend this side too to make it a little bit more symmetrical. And I did that to accommodate the built-in bench, so that this side of the bench, well, it's going to be my space at the table, is an adequate space for anybody to sit. Because if I just had the original, it becomes quite cramped, because this is only, well, I see we have help. Let me get rid of the help here. Oh, okay, Findus. Well, there you go. Oh, he loves his mommy. Anyways, he frequently likes to do this with me. Anyways, so this is just to show you the overall space in the dining room, and I'm usually standing here cooking during the video so you can see what we're going to do. And the reason why I'm showing this all to you is because it's so messed up looking in the videos when you see all the different paint colors that I put on the wall as I was testing different colors for different things. And you see unfinished wallboard. And I thought, well, you probably want to know what I might be doing there. And just to let you know, this whole stairway was open to about here. And then on this side here, and this is actually a one-step high landing, which led into the living room over there. Put that back for a minute. I'll just put my drawing on top of, well, the old living room here. This was the landing, and it was one of the ways into the living room, and the other way in was across the hall from the bathroom. And I just thought that really was weird. Anyways, so we're enclosing the stairwell so that we can use the stair upstairs as just a 3-season area because we don't really need that much space. But back to this, I'm also adding a built-in cabinet, corner cabinet, which it'll probably be more like a piece of furniture that we just screw into the wall. And that is a corner cabinet you can see from this drawing. And I intend to paint it in a folk art style. But the purpose of that cabinet is to feed the cat and the dog and store their cat food and dog food in a nice piece of furniture or cabinetry so that it doesn't have to sit out all the time. And my original concept painting, I should say, or quick, not even drawn out sketch that I just did quick with some gouache, is just showing a blue folk painted cabinet with some lattice here and different elements to give it the 19th and that's early 19th century and late 18th century appearance that we're trying to do in the entire house. I have actually something to show you for that. I got a little ahead of myself, but I'll backtrack in a minute. This is a Christmas ornament that a subscriber sent to me and gave to me as a present. And what I wanted to show you was that this is how I got the idea of the color scheme I'm going to use for the cabinet. I'm matching the blue, which is more of a teal blue, to an existing trunk that I'm putting in the sitting room. And I just liked this rust color flower motif on this Christmas ornament and some of the other motifs, which I'm probably going to use or slightly alter when I do some of the floral motifs on there. And that's just to say that just about anything can be used as the inspiration for design elements. You just have to look around you. I mean, sometimes it's just the simplest little things like a Christmas ornament. So anyways, I thought that was really pretty. And so that got me started on this cabinet. But I want to backtrack 1 minute. All right, just to let you know, for the dining room, this is my concept color scheme and kind of how it all works together, looking towards the west and north walls of the dining room. This one being the west, this one being the north. So here you can see the chimney chase, which is already done, and I've tiled it in slate as well as the surround for the floor of the wood cook stove. And we're putting paneling on the walls that of course we're making from all of our own wood on the property, and we're using mostly hand tools to make it, so it will all have the hand scraped appearance of hand planing, which would be consistent with the period that we're trying to emulate on the inside of our house, which is late 19th century, actually late 18th century, early 19th century. And I just want to show you that this is just going to be cream colored, and we're going to use a black, traditional looking hardware, which we'll probably make ourselves. And then we're going to put this built-in bench here, and I'm going to paint it in another folk art way, like I did the cart that you've seen in the pantry tour video, as well as the under steps storage that was also in the pantry tour. So kind of an antique-y red, and it's just kind of a highlight. And it's because I'm also going to do the kitchen island red. So I want to, have elements that are repeating certain colors and themes throughout the house. So I just wanted to show you that because that's what I do simply when I'm sort of thinking and dreaming about what I want to do for our remodel. And remember, this is a remodel on a budget. So we do everything by hand, and we do it all ourselves, and we do it with the material that we have our own property, which isn't necessarily the best wood in the world, but hey, it's what we got and the price is right. So back to this cabinet. There, I'll get it right side up for you. Now, about this cabinet, on the outside it will look fairly like a normal piece of late 18th century folk art style cabinet. And but on the inside, it's going to function much differently. So I put a little door here, which is sort of a long, narrow door, and a wood lattice to let this area breathe. And I'll explain why in a minute here. I put a door here with 2 hinges. I put a drawer here and a drawer here. This drawer will pull out with the little doggy dish so that he has his little doggy dish place to eat, and it'll be raised up a bit, so that's better for the dog. And also it can be put away when not in use. And then above it is a drawer with a big bin, and that's going to be to store the cat food in. And then on this side is going to be another pull-out bin, and that's going to store the dog food. And of course it's bigger because the dog food takes up more space than the cat food. Then on the inside there will be the shelf here to house the cat food dish, which has to be behind bars, so to speak. And the only reason why is because the dog's kind of a pig, and if you leave the cat food out, he will find a way to get it and eat all of it, and then the cat doesn't get anything. And you know, cats eat their food just a little bit at a time, and the dogs just wolf it down whatever's there. Anyway, so you just have to accommodate for these things. And then on the inside, I'm putting a shelf up here rather than down there, so it's not matching the bottom of where the doors go. And the reason why is to give the cat headroom. And the reason why the doors go here is because I need to respect the good dimensions of a piece that would be typical of the period. And so I can't disrupt that because I want a certain look. And I want it to look like it came from the late 18th century. So that's how that works. Now on the inside, looking straight down, this would be the 2 levels, the dog bowl below here, and then the cat food bin above. And on this side would be the dog food bin, and they just pull out. What I did was I decided that where there's this little door, it's going to be over here, where I had the little hinges drawn. There'll be a little hole cut there, probably right in the paneling to not disrupt that panel design. And then the cat can come in through the little opening that the dog can't fit into, can go up a ramp, and then the ramp takes a right angle turn, and then another right angle turn up into its shelf. So this would be the cat shelf here, and you can see it covers the bottom part of the ramp, but allows for space and access for the cat as it turns the corner and turns the second corner, the second corner. And so that's how that works. So it took me a little bit to come up with this design, which may look a little weird on paper, but it should be fairly functional, and it's not something that you would normally find like in an antique store, but we're making our own antiques here, so that's okay. But that's how it works for our needs. And sometimes you just have to think about how are you going to use the space, including the space inside of a piece of furniture or a piece of cabinetry. And then you have to get creative with that so that it meets the needs that you have determined you needed, and also meets the design elements that you want on the outside. So that was my solution for the corner cabinet. And the rest was my solution for the way I want this house to function. Now, we've lived here a few years already, so we actually have gotten a good feel of how we use this space and what we wanted to do with it. We didn't want to jump in right away with just making a design, not knowing how we were going to utilize the house. And of course, it needed to meet our desire to run a pretty self-sufficient homestead too. So this is why we put the wood cook stove in, of course, and it's also why we put the masonry heater in, because we have plenty of woods to get firewood from. So we have a pretty endless supply of fuel for that without having to rely on external sources of fuel. Now, just as a little teaser for the future, I'll just quickly go over what we're doing with the rest of the house. Now, originally, the front door opened straight into the kitchen like this. We've actually already removed the door and I put a window there. And so the front door is currently coming through what was the bathroom, and we did remove the toilet. Not immediately, but we did do it after a while. So it was kind of weird. You'd come in the front door and, oh, here's the toilet. Anybody want to use it? Well, I know that's kind of strange, but we've already removed the toilet. We have a washing machine here. We don't have a dryer because we don't use a dryer. But anyways, so in that space, you can see through this drawing, there was a closet in the kitchen. And so those two doors were always conflicting with each other. The door coming into the house plus the door for this closet. So in the remodel, we haven't done this part yet, but this wall is going to be moved back into what was formerly that bathroom. And the front door is here, and we'll put a little cabinet there and maybe a bench there. Most of the bathroom I've already finished, and I will show you that in the next floor plan video that I do in my little floor plan and design series. And we've already closed off the area that was the living room, and we closed off the former entrance that was across the hall from the bathroom. And then we opened up the wall here, and of course, since this was a bearing wall, we had to put a beam across there. And we did that. And so this is going to become the master bedroom with a bunch of built-in cabinetry and built-in bed, and we'll have lots of storage. And so that'll be all very nice when we get it done. So, and then of course the kitchen gets to be extended. So I'll have a much larger kitchen island. You can see the red, if you can see it through here. That's the old island that's still there. And the new island is about twice the size of it. And then I get more counter space over here. And I have a double basin, double drain board, restaurant style sink to put in here, which won't be sitting on its legs. It'll be built into the counters. And we've done that. We did that in another house, and I love that, having that much sink space and drain board space. It was wonderful for when you're doing lots of food prep like we like to do. And so that's going to be really fun. And yes, a lot of work, and I will take you through that step by step as we do it. So let me know in the comments what else you'd like to see with this design, and let me hear your comments about it too. Thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate it. And I hope you'll like and subscribe too, because that always helps the channel out. You know, all those people on YouTube have to say that because of the algorithm, but that's all right. You're used to hearing it. And I just want to mention one other thing. So these windows here are 6-foot windows, 6-foot windows, 6-foot windows. So it's a little weird in the bathroom because I got this big giant window. So yeah, that's a problem. But I actually might do a creative solution there. I'm still working on it, so I can't say what it's going to be because I haven't worked it out. And then I wanted to say one other thing, because the roof pitches go to the west and to the east. So now, because the front door, which used to be here where this window is, all the snow would just pile up and pile up and pile up in front of the door on a little tiny landing. So now we have, I think it's an 8-foot wide deck, maybe it's 6 foot wide with an 8-foot roof, all along the entire east face of the house. That keeps the snow away from the house, which is better for the siding, better for the basement, better for everything. And then we did the same thing on the west side, only the roof line is below these two windows because this is a daylight basement, so it comes off from the top of the basement level and then extends out that way. And so we have it extending all the way into even with the addition. So we have a nice covered walkway, which gives us a covered area to get into the root cellar below, which doors are about there. Anyways, so that's really nice because we have cooking wood on either side down there. We don't have to get in the weather to get that. And the wood shed's over here, so it's right close, and we hardly have any snow to get through to get to the woodshed. So it all works out really well. So you kind of design these things as you go. and as you try to plan it out ahead of time, but that doesn't always work, but we do the best we can. So I just wanted to let you know that that's what we've done here on our little humble homestead by turning, you know, a modular built home, which is, you know, it's got good bones on the outside and the structure, but the floor plan was quirky. So, but you know, you can change things. Just don't be afraid to do it. We had a full access with the basement, so plumbing and wiring are fairly easy to change. Yeah, it's a job, but my husband did it all, and I'm thankful for that. So, just to let you know, you can get creative if you think about it, and you can solve problems and make homes or houses into homesteads and make them work for you. So, again, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.